there was a third baseman, and Jeff Waisner, great player. He's in our Sports Hall of Fame. Waisner was in a speech class, and so he was making that speech saying, when I grow up, I want to be Bill Nash. I want to come in at 10 o'clock. I want to put my feet up. I don't want to ever wear socks. You know, I want to go to practice at 2 o'clock and play basketball in the gym after it closes at midnight.
I mean, you are, it sounds like a dream life. All right, everybody. Today we are here with Wingate legend, Coach Bill Nash. Thanks for coming in, Coach. Happy to have you on the podcast.
Brian, thank you. And I'm really honored that you put me in the mix, because I know you have some important people coming up in this. But I've been here a while.
You've been here a while. We had Coach Gregory come on, and he played a season or two with you.
Well, he did. He was all 4 years.
Was it all 4 years?
Yes, and then he was my graduate assistant once he graduated, and was assistant coach for a few years. And when I stepped down, he was with Coach Osborne, and a great decision that Jeff has ascended to the top chair.
Yeah, absolutely.
And has my son now on his coaching staff.
Because your son played here, right?
That's all cool.
Yeah, no. So, tell me about how you actually got started here at Wingate.
That is interesting, because I came here in junior college.
Okay.
Went to Wake. But I was coaching at a private school, coaching basketball and baseball, and athletic director, and teaching 5 classes, and just loving life, And Dean Haskins, he came to see me and said, "Young William, we have a chance. I need somebody to, be the dean of men," because he was going to become the vice president for student affairs. So, and also Coach Christopher is going to be moving back in head coach position, because he had stepped away from coaching himself and coaching baseball. And so it seemed like such a great idea to be able to come back, because I grew up in Union County too. And so I came back as a dean of men, and then assistant baseball coach with Coach Christopher for many years. And so that got me back here. Now, then after the time here, we reorganized student development. I became associate dean, and actually was supposed to be responsible for housing and other things, but I didn't really want to do that as much. So I traded with someone to be, this is really true story. I said, tell you what, I'll take care of discipline and activities, and you take care of the housing and stuff.
Well, you were just more activities.
Yeah, then it was activities, so, and the discipline stuff. And this was also assistant baseball coach. Mm-hmm. So I've never really been a specialist at anything. Maybe it's because I've never been good at it.
Oh gosh!
But I just keep moving around and keep finding a slot to fit into. So it's been like 45 years.
I knew it.
Been here.
I knew it was. We had a pretty high number on it.
Yeah. So I've seen some things.
Yeah. I mean, every time I would come into your office, maybe it was because you had your time in already. You were. You had the loafers on, feet up on the desk, hanging out on the phone. And I was like, man, whatever that guy does, that's what I hope I can get to someday.
There was a guy in actually one of the first baseball teams I was helping coach. There was a third baseman, and Jeff Waisner, great player. He's in our Sports Hall of Fame. Waisner was in a speech class, and so he was making that speech saying, when I grow up, I want to be Bill Nash. I want to come in at 10 o'clock. I want to put my feet up. I don't want to ever wear socks. I want to go to practice at 2 o'clock and play basketball in the gym after it closes at midnight.
I mean, you are. It sounds like a dream life.
I have loved it. I really, it hasn't been always. Things haven't always worked out, but for the biggest part, this has been a great life.
Yeah. So tell me about baseball coach. Okay. I mean, when you followed the guy. His name's on the field.
Yeah.
So
Coach Christopher. I was with Coach for at least 10 years as his assistant coach.
Yeah.
And so, I've recruited. Was on the road a lot recruiting, and I learned a lot from him, obviously. And he is Mr. Baseball.
Yes.
And this school's got a great history of baseball. Even before Coach Christopher, Coach Perry, who was during junior college years, we had 1 year they went undefeated. There wasn't a national championship, so they went as far as they could go. But his record was like 81-14 over 3 years. He was a local guy. And then, I think there was a coach in between, and Coach Christopher came, and of course, he had a great run to junior college. And we were in AIA when I was with him. Then I did leave for a couple of years, and when Coach stepped down, that John Thurston was AD and Dr. McGee was president, and so they offered me the position to come back as head coach, and it was our first year NCAA Division II. We didn't know what that really meant, except it was NCAA, so you'd really seem like a bump up, but we were pretty well known in the NAIA world, and it certainly had been in the NCAA, in the junior college. So it was a new adventure.
Yeah.
Got off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, you had a pretty good run as the baseball coach here. You had some pretty good teams.
Yes, we did.
Kind of what are some of those memories as far as like leading the baseball team and you're paving the way for Division II baseball.
Well, thanks for saying, and it really was true, and it happened to be I was the guy in here at that time, but
sometimes it's where you were at the right time, right?
But we started out our first game Division II. We played Armstrong State, and they had just beaten North Carolina and South Carolina. So that's what we're thinking, and we really have stepped into it. But so it's our first game ever as a Division II, and we are leading in the bottom of the ninth, 4-3, and they got 2 on and 2 out. Ground balls hit to one of our infielders. It goes to his leg. They win, and so we lose by a run. Well, but still, that was a tough loss. But there was some saying, well, we can play with these guys.
Right.
We were, and we did drop the next 2, and they were really close games. We came back, beat Francis Marion, and suddenly, we kind of found our stride. And we had a bad series with Elon, and then it was one of those aha moments and then went on an 18-game winning streak.
Wow.
So, and then truthfully, that first year, because now we're in the mix for the title, but we're playing at Mars Hill, and we won the first 2 games of the series. Elon has dropped a game. We're now tied. They're playing Lenore Ryan. We're up in the last game of the series at Mars Hill. And I actually had left our ace out of the series because the tournament started the next week. Brought him in to close the game down, and their number 9 hitter had hit what appeared to be a 2-run homer. And so, we're up by a run, bottom of the ninth. Well, they got all excited, because, they started jumping up down their base runner and the batter, but our third baseman did such a great job of watching that runner, that hitter, and that, it appeared to be a walk-off. We appealed to second, and he indeed never touched second.
Oh, my gosh.
And so we walk off from there with a 1-run lead. So we're still, tied with Elon. We learned in the locker room that they had lost in last inning, so we've got our first conference championship.
Man,
and then
what a way to win it too.
Yeah, it was. But again, I had a club that, I had, Darren Hayes, who's arguably one of the best, hitters ever to play here. And that's saying something. There have been some great hitters. I had 2 other ones that were in, 2 or 3 on that team that were kind of some of the best ever here. So, and we did well. We made it to the regional finals and we had won the conference tournament as well as the conference championship. Then we were able to do the same thing the next year and go to the finals. We had those 2 on and just could not get that run across to win in 95, 96. We won the conference again. We won our conference tournament, and we go to the regionals and Abilene Christian, because they had moved us to another region. So we had a great start, and it set the tone, I believe. and again, believe me, this is not about me. This is about Wingate baseball.
Right.
But it is that we kind of made a name for ourselves in Division II baseball.
Right.
And that set us up for, for some other good years, and we had some good and bad. And then things have obviously evolved to where Jeff has a program now. So.
Yeah. A few years ago, you're obviously a huge baseball fan. You're watching everything, and we're going to the national championship. And what are you thinking? What's it like for you watching your baseball team?
Yeah, that's really because I was traveled with the team as the administrator, but I was able to just watch a lot. And of course, David, my son, was on the team, and there was actually one of my former players, Robert Little. His son has just graduated from the program. Rodney Morgan, who had played with us, his son had just graduated. So I've got former players whose sons were, not there. And of course, Coach Christopher's grandson, he's on the team. But there's all these Wingate connections.
Right.
But also just seeing that particular team, and at the World Series, that place we had just missed by a game, one game in the past. And so I was really proud. I was proud of the decision Jeff made. I thought he coached a great postseason. We had a lot of the players that just were outstanding. We were clutch. I realized even going into the tournament, they may take this as not the way I mean it, but I don't know, in any tournament we went into, I wasn't sure we were the best team.
Don't always have to be.
But we were the team standing because we made those plays. We made those pitches. Jeff made really good decisions. Coach White, the pitching coach, had done such a good job preparing the staff. And I will say in my bragging moment, Dave threw a complete game and, during one game of the series. So as a dad, that was especially. But then as a coach, just looking at those guys, never like dog piles because that is somebody really hurt. But that was one that was easy to celebrate. Yeah. So it was fun to see. And it also showed, now, of course, Coach Hamill's soccer team had won a national championship years before, so we'd kind of broken through that ceiling. But then to see us step up in there and carry and to pick that up, that was a great moment for Wingate and Wingate baseball. And they're still good, and that field down there looks great. So things are good. But you know what, Ryan, in our athletic program, that we've been through periods in the past where maybe there was one or two great teams that kind of carried the way.
That's everything.
There's so many teams. I mean, and it is so amazing. Just as somebody who's on campus every day, I know some people say, "Why aren't you out?" I do like being on campus, but just to see so many athletes. I mean, I'm watching that swim team, and they're working out in their little facility outside the pool. The tennis team, I mean, they play at such a high level. They're working out. You can hear and I do walk over and watch baseball practice. The softball team's working out. You've got the triathlon team. They're on bikes taking off everywhere. What's going on down at the football stadium. Our lacrosse teams are outstanding. And the basketball, my office is right at the court, so I can hear somebody's on the court all the time and watching them work out. And it's not just the fact they're working out, but the caliber of athletes we have in this school year after year is really pretty impressive.
What do you think that is? Like, why? How are we doing that? How are we consistent? And like you said earlier, it's every sport is consistently top of the conference every single year. Like, how are we continuing that? It's been before I was here that we were winning every year.
I mean, the 15 years of Eccles is kind of a benchmark, I guess you could say. And again, like I said, we had great programs before, but it just started coming together. And a lot of it, I believe.
Did they stop the Eccles? Have we changed it to the Wingate Award or,
Not sure that would be. But they are ever who MCs the conference the little award ceremony at the end of the year. They're saying
they're fed up with us now.
They are fed, and I totally understand it. But again, it's earned. It's not that because you're right. There are so many teams. It is coaching. It is a consistency in coaching. We've had a lot of coaches that have been able to operate in a way that's allowed them to run their programs, and they've been entrusted to run their programs. And they've done an outstanding job. So there's been some good decisions as who was brought in, but also how they've been supported. there is a culture here that I think that it is that each team kind of, well, I can't say they all follow each other that closely, but they're aware of each other. So I think there is a
You never want to be the bad team on campus.
Well, you would be known. You would be known, and people can have those years. Injuries can happen and things like that. But still, it's just a pretty positive vibe around athletics and expectations. Sometimes that expectations can break you down. You try to be more than you should be, but it does seem that it just kind of feeds on each other. And we've made some other good hires. Some people who've come in and replaced some people that have done a nice job and kind of they're keeping it going.
Well, I think it says a lot to the athletic department, the athletic program. For our coaches, we don't see a lot of turnover. They stay for a long time because they're winning and they're enjoying themselves. And so because the coaches stay for so long, that helps you build, relationships and trust. And
well, you are right. And it is, because you've talked to Coach Reich, I know you've talked to him and the nice run that he had and the staff that he had, working together. Now, sometimes, people say, well, the sameness can create a lack of, initiative for making changes. That hasn't seemed to be the case. And again, it's maybe it is because there are other coaches at other sports that keep nudging the bar up a little higher, and being competitive as they are. So there's just a lot of good positive reasons. There's a lot more that we can always do, and that's one of the things I'm involved in now is raising funds, to help support the athletic program, because it is important to, be able to finance them. And it's an expensive venture. Think about it. We have almost 900 student athletes on this campus. I mean, there are 26, soon will be 26 sports. I like the whole vision of the thing, because that creates a campus that people are involved in something, that they're kind of connected. That is, if you do it the right way. It could be a lot of sports and you don't do it the right way, and you got, different kind of atmosphere.
Right.
But no, we're pretty good balance. I really do believe that Division II has a chance of, and some of our credos we have, I think, are a little, but I like the idea that we're a combination of that, scholarship athlete, that walk-on athlete, that really good student, that student that's, going to have to work really hard to make it through. And it's kind of what I think really collegiate athletics, the best could be about. And I don't know, we're doing it well. And, I love playing, love rivalries, love for us. We do play schedules and we think they're competitive. I mean, Jamie just took our softball team down to Texas and played in this Division II first pitch kind of thing.
She won. Deal. She was winning in Texas softball, which is kind of a thing.
Darn right. Jeff went down to Florida. I know where our tennis team just opened up and they're playing really well. I mean, there's just keep looking at our good success stories, but they're earned, and it's a lot of fun. I like these people. That's the thing about Wingate. I've always liked these people.
It's hard not to,
It's the students, the faculty I work with, the other coaches, the administration. It's always.
Well, right after I graduated, I think I said this on one of the other episodes, my first ever college football game that I played, was Notre Dame. Right. So that was my first ever game. And, I got free tickets from a guy that I played high school football with. And when you go on Notre Dame's campus, it didn't matter what team you were rooting for. They were the nicest people that you would ever meet.
Okay.
But I was like, this is kind of normal. This is what I think college is because that's how Wingate was.
Yeah. Awesome.
And then I went to Florida State and I was like, this is not what it normally is. I went to LSU. I was like, oh, so Wingate is an anomaly up on par with what I saw at Notre Dame. I'm like, we're Notre Dame for Division II.
Yeah. That's a great, not an analogy. Well, maybe it is an analogy, but it's a great place for us to be. Somebody's kind of a standard like that. I know oftentimes we've talked about and Dr. Brown's talked about this over time, that before he was president, we used to have these conversations about really the model of Stanford, as for the academic and athletic excellence and stuff like that too. And Notre Dame's another good one. But, I'm not saying we're that. I'm just saying we kind of are who we are, and we're pretty darn good about it. And I'm really proud of being part of this. I enjoy getting to know the people, the students, the athletes, the fans, the faculty and staff that we've worked with, and so there's a lot of and it's a pre-campus too.
Yeah, we've done a pretty good job recently.
It really is.
I mean, we're sitting here in the McGee Center, which if you haven't been by campus, and I can't remember when this was built, maybe not 10 years ago,
no,
5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, years do pass.
If you haven't came by, this place is awesome, and we're actually sitting on the old Sanders Sykes gym floor, which is in here. So it's a cool homage to the history.
Well, it is, and just to show how old I am. When I was a kid growing up here, that Sanders Sykes was new, and it was considered almost like the Coliseum. It was because we had this little teeny Wingate High School. It had a little small gym upside in college, and now then it was taken down, and bits of the gym itself were kept. And this is the kind of floor that people played basketball on. You guys working out football, you worked out early.
There was a lot of stuff that happened on this floor for football.
There were people registered for classes. They went to dances, met their future wife on these floors and stuff like this. But I'm really glad that they did keep this and keep some sellers. And as I mentioned to you, I've got some 1-by-1 pieces of it that's available.
Available for sale from the fundraising guy, man.
Imagine that. So at any rate, if anybody needs that. But anyway, there's a great history at this school, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on. I'm really glad you're doing something like this, not this one, but just having conversations with people, Wingate people, that getting these stories and these conversations.
Well, I mean,
things to share.
I had a great time. Wingate shaped me into what I've done since college. Had a great time with football, and I feel like there's some stories that get either left behind, forgotten, never told. Like a lot of people don't know certain people's stories, and so I remember going to, I can't remember where we were, but we went to Wendy's or something, and you're sitting there having a burger, and we come over and eat with you, and you might have been eating with Dr. McGee, and you asked us to come over and sit and hang out with you. And so stuff like that is that doesn't happen at big schools. It doesn't happen at other schools. I mean, me walking out of my class, seeing you in your office, coming in, saying hi, you have me sit down, we talk about golf and baseball, and then leave. Those are the memories I have. And I want other people to be able to experience it and relive it and hear some of those stories.
I really appreciate that. And again, I really sense what you're saying. Because, the thing, and people, they said, look, Coach Nash, come in and tell us about, because they say you're the guy with the institutional knowledge, which means I'm the oldest guy around. But, I hope every school does have their set of stories. I just know these are ours.
Right.
And the lives of you guys, is part of that story, certainly. And those little events. And now, for years when I was over at the Dixon Palmer Center, what's now the Crowder Center, I had a couch in my office.
Yeah, you had the good office.
It was a good one. It was the baseball glove.
Yeah.
And that was one that people seemed to think that was a cool thing. Yeah. Even those who had to come in on Monday mornings because I'd gotten a report they needed to talk to Dean Nash on Monday morning. That again, that's great memories.
Yeah. So now your official title is fundraising.
Yeah.
Some might say it's fundraising.
Fun. Well, that was. I do it in that kind of way. Because the official title is Director of the Athletic Foundation and Bulldog Club and Assistant Athletic Director. And once again, that shows they can't figure out what to do with me. So it'll stick me in enough places, something will work out, man.
So what, your main objective is obviously to help fund and make sure that Wingate Sports can have the financials that's necessary. So what are some of your objectives? I know our big one's getting ready to come up, and when we're releasing this, it's probably a week or two out, which is the President's Cup.
Yeah.
The podcast needs a team. So, I'm looking for 3 players that are much better than me. I will hit 4 good golf balls all day. So, if you want to be a podcast member of the President's Cup, but yeah, tell us about the President's Cup.
Well, the President's Cup, it is an annual event. So this will be the 30th one. And it is by the university has allowed for this to be committed totally to raising funds for athletics. Mm. And so while we do the Bulldog Club, that's the organization I really work the most through, and we're the sponsors of this. We do sponsor the Canal tournament during homecoming. That's kind of a get everybody back together kind of thing. Mm-hmm. This one we really do try to raise some money. Mm-hmm. And also we'll have people that are vendors, that we'll have trustees, we'll have former athletes, we'll have more alumni groups, but other businesses that maybe are in the area. And we have a really nice venue, the club at Longview.
Okay. Oh, I thought so. Last time I played, it was at Eagle Chase. So we've changed it.
That was the Canal.
Gotcha.
The Canal was
that's the one I did then.
Yeah. So now we're bumping you up.
Oh, okay.
Now that you're doing so well.
Nice.
And but it's a beautiful course, Captain's Choice. It's on March 25th.
That's a Monday.
It is a Monday, and we will have probably 25 teams there. And it's our presenting sponsor is Crowder Construction Company. You'll see the Crowder name on the Welcome Center, over there. But we try to make it a really nice day. A nice event. It's a beautiful location.
Yeah, and during that, you guys are going to have some, raffles. You're going to have some gifts and
we do
stuff
that.
like that.
We have good food. We have Brandon Gandy, Wingate football. His sponsorship is for the beverage cart. So why is that a shocker? So anyway, so we appreciate it. So it'll be fun. It's a really fun day. So I hope that, and we've sent some information out. It'll be on the website for those who want to click on there and other sources. And always people can call me. It didn't sound like Junior Sound 549. They call me at my phone, and I would love to talk to them about. But this is part of the Bulldog Club. The Bulldog Club is where we raise our sole purpose is to raise money for the athletic department and for the teams directly. Yeah. And so started this thing a couple years ago. If I got just another minute to tell you about.
Yeah, absolutely. You get all the time in the world, Coach.
In organizing this, thinking that what I really would like to do is connect more alumni back with their team, alumni with the overall program, or alumni or donors, fans. And so we started concepts called team ambassadors. So each team has like a team that they can help them raise funds, help them make connections, be part of their someone else to talk to and things they need, so we can get that out. Now we oversee it from the organizational standpoint, but these team ambassadors with each team, and it's kind of beginning to develop some connection, and some level of success, and hope it will continue to grow, and that you look like a great prospect to be part of that football organization, and helping Coach Jordan get his off to a great start, and then also just helping the whole athletic program. Coach Reich will certainly be overlooking the general athletics part. We're there to help and to be behind them. And again, it's just keep telling his story.
Yeah. Those that want to get involved with the Bulldog Club, what's the best way, or, how can people help with that?
Well, it is, we do have on our website, the Wingate Athletic website. It's got the Bulldog Club link that will take you directly to that there's a number of things on different social media that they don't let me deal with.
What are you talking about?
My GAs will take care of all, they'll people who know will do that. Then they can always call, but we and like at football games, we will have a pregame hospitality. We have parking lot that's for the Bulldog Club members only, and then we do have a catered meal and it really was started by the catering part by an old Wingate football player, Mr. Bill Leeson, who just recently passed away. But he was a member of that 1957 state championship football team. And he started a business called Little Red Pig. It was a barbecue business. That's one of his many businesses, but has grown into a catering business. His daughter runs it now, and they continue to support us, out there. So do we do that for football games? Basketball games, the double headers, we have a hospitality that we invite our members in, and it's just more of that whole community engagement, Wingate family, enjoying the game, come have a little break with us and go back into the game.
Yeah.
So we try to do things that will, connect that.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of last question I have for you is, you've been here a while, you've seen everybody, you've been through a lot of different kind of leaders and people with the college. Yeah. One of the biggest changes this whole year is Coach Reich, who, one of my favorite coaches, obviously. Absolutely. He's now the AD. Yeah. For you, that's someone that, you've worked with for a while. And what do you kind of see with that change? What do you see as the trajectory of Wingate Athletics with him under the helm?
I'll tell you, he does fall in the category of good people. Mm-hmm. And he is a solid manager and leader.
So most people, if you weren't a player and you just watched the football games, you're like, oh, that's the head coach. Yeah. Coach Reich was truly the manager of the team, and he just made sure the coaches were the right people for the jobs.
And I have seen him function as the athletic director of the same way. And at one of the things, the first meeting, of course, I have known Joe a long time, and been a fan of his and stuff like this, but now sitting in meetings that he's presiding over, and one of the things that he said first that just resonated with me, he says, listen, what we got to do is make sure that we keep letting the main thing be the main thing. Because it's so easy to get carried away with all kinds of other, well thought out, but initiatives that kind of get you off task. Mm-hmm. You can kind of the cart before the horse and all these other kind of things, as opposed, and I have seen him already in his experience and not been surprised, but also pleasantly, very supportive this way, that he kind of keeps his feet on the ground. He's not getting carried away with himself. I can see also with him, and this was kind of surprising, this is new to him because he hasn't been part, because truthfully, I think, he has been seeing some of his first tennis matches. He's been here 20 years, but he's been so locked in, with where he was.
He told us to go to all this stuff, but he was busy. He couldn't go himself.
And so now he is learning a lot, and it's there's almost some enthusiasm that he has for this. And I think he's going to be a very strong advocate for it, and a really worthy advocate for Wingate Athletics internally and externally. I think he's going to make the school better in his new role. I like him.
Yeah, no, he's a very, very intelligent man. He's very even keeled. Yeah. He's very well thought out before he comes up with decisions, and I think that's really, really valuable when you're having to navigate all these different sports.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this for any other reason other than he and I kind of we have lunch once a week. Yeah, and mostly it's just for me to take him somewhere down memory lane and tell him about who some of these names are, and connect some of the dots and stuff like that. So I really do appreciate that, because it's so easy for people in new positions or new people to kind of approach where they are and like there's no history. The history starts now that I'm here. He's really wanting to get more engaged with where we came from, with other people, places, things, and also take care of where we're going now. Yeah, it's pretty solid, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he has to do with everything. He's obviously someone I admire quite a bit, but I do think this is an ideal role for him just based on how he led the football team.
Yeah, and it was a great. I think they made a wonderful decision upstairs. Naming Joe and reaching out to him, because you're right, he built that steadily. There was a consistency there, and now that I sound like I'm really polished now. You don't mean to be. No, he's good people, and it's going to work out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, Coach Nash, we appreciate you coming on. Guys, March 25th, sign up for the golf tournament with Coach Nash. Help the Bulldog Club out. And we appreciate you coming on and telling your stories.
Thank you. There's a lot more, but anyways, I hope I haven't wasted too much.
No, you're perfect. Well, guys, make sure you subscribe, share this with some friends, and we'll see you on the next episode.